Hello, this is Jared Price. I'd like to welcome you to another Frontier Precision Tech Talk. In today's session, we're going to talk about the Trimble X7 scanner with Capture and eventually getting to RealWorks. So what I have here is a Trimble Capture file. So this includes Trimble X7 scan data as well as annotations, photos. So this was started in Trimble Capture on a T10 tablet, and then launching Perspective, and then exporting back to Capture, and then exporting the appropriate .capture file. So this would be the resulting file. If I'm trying to get this file into Trimble RealWorks to clean up scan data, whatever I need to do with the point cloud itself, the first thing I need to do is generate a TDX file, which is a Trimble Data Exchange file. So that's going to actually generate the scan files that we need to get into RealWorks. So I have the proper converter on my machine. So if I right click on this Trimble Capture file, we're going to convert to job XML. I wish it would say convert to TDX, but it does not. Converting to job XML will put it in the TDX format and get all of the scan files off there that we need. So I'm going to click on this, and this little conversion is going to say convert to JXL. At this time, we will not get any status. When it is complete, this screen will go away. And what we're creating is in the same file location as the capture file. It's actually creating a file folder. So it's named the same thing as the capture file. So it's not complete yet, but I'm going to go in here, Perspective, so TDX. So this TDX file right here, this is what we're going to be importing into RealWorks. And then if you were to go into this file folder, you would see, so TZF, so that's a Trimble proprietary scan file. So these are all the scans that we did. And then these are photos that we did. And this was obviously for a evidence marker. So again, that's the file when this is complete that we're going to be importing into RealWorks. And then also, since we did a registration refinement, this is the resulting file that was saved. Let me reduce this a little bit. Name of your scene, total number of stations or scans, and this goes through a lot of the registration summary. So my little icon did go away, so this is now complete and ready to import into RealWorks. So pull open RealWorks here. So here's Trimble RealWorks. I do not have the Forensics edition. I have the complete full edition, but the Forensics edition will look very similar to this. So I'm going to import and then open. And I need to navigate to my folder. So traffic 1, so that's the file folder that was created when we converted to job XML. And Perspective. So TDX. So you have to go in several file folders to find this TDX file. And make sure your file type, so the Trimble 3D scan files, that's going to automatically pick up any related scan files from Trimble proprietary scanners. So TDX, so we're going to open that. And first thing, it's always going to prompt us that we need to save. So we hit OK. You can either navigate to wherever you want to save this. I'm actually going to go back a couple just because I'm a little anal about this. I'm actually going to create my own RealWorks project folder so I know that that's in there. I'm going to leave it as traffic 1. This will probably be an actual case number. Save that. This thing is going to ask us for sampling. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. I go sampling by step. If you do a 0 for a sample step, it's going to generate every point in the point cloud that's possible. If you were to do a step of 1, it's going to start stepping up. So that is approximately 3/100ths of a foot between the spacing on the points in the point cloud. So in the forensics world, I've always realized that why not get every point that's possible, because a lot of these areas we need fine detail. So by putting a 0, it's going to get every point that's possible from those scans. And I'm going to hit start, and this should take a couple minutes. So I'm going to pause and come back with you when it's done. Okay, so once it's complete, this is the first screen that you're going to see. These are just basically the panoramas that are created from the scan locations. You can see this first station that we did not have photos on, so our result is just a grayscale intensity photo. So don't be alarmed. That just means that you did not have photos on. So you can close out of that. You can see it took 4 minutes and 8 seconds. That's really going to be dependent on your PC. And these are all the completed. Okay, so once we're inside RealWorks here, you can see our point cloud. If you want to navigate around, you can left click with your mouse and roll around in 3D. And then the zoom wheel will be in and out. And then pan is zoom wheel hold until you see the little hand, and then you can move around. It's just some basics on the navigation. You can see here that we're in registration mode, so it's always going to default to registration mode when we start up Trimble RealWorks and we import a TDX file. So we're not doing any registration. In the forensics world, we're doing all of our registration inside Perspective. So we need to go from registration into production mode. And you see we don't have any points displaying here. You'll see that when we go from production or from registration to production, we will now see a project cloud, and the little light bulb needs to be turned on. So once you turn your light bulb on, then you'll see your point cloud. So with public safety, it seems to be by popular demand. The first thing that we always need is the full point cloud untouched. So before I start working on this cloud, because you can see this is an inside scene. The first thing that we're probably going to be doing is taking the roof off because we're trying to prep this data to go into Reveal. And right now, we can't really see down into the room. But before I do that, I'm going to highlight my project cloud. You can see when I do that, it puts kind of a yellow box around the entire project cloud. And I'm actually going to export that selection as an E57 file, E57. Again, I'm a little picky, so I'm actually going to create an E57 file folder so I know that that's where all of my E57 point clouds are going to go. So you would usually have this project cloud, like a case number. Let's do an example. Case number 5421. So I know anything with a project cloud is going to be the entire cloud untouched because you're going to need to keep this. We're going to be able to import this into Reveal and kind of have it in the background. We can make it visible and non-visible, but basically we can turn it on and we're just trying to prove that nothing has moved in our working cloud that we're going to be actually using for diagramming. So project cloud, case number, I'm going to save that. You're going to see this, export intensity and export true color. So if it has photos, you will have true color. If it doesn't, this would not be highlighted. And I know that one of my scans actually did not have color, but there are other scans in there that do have color. So I'm going to export that. And I'm going to pause real quick. Okay, so it is completed. So I exported my project cloud as an E57 file. Now what I'm going to do is start manipulating my cloud so I can get it working, so I can get it into Reveal. So if I'm going to be cutting the roof off, the easiest way is we want to get from a profile view. Because right now, I could move this around until I was perfect on a profile. A quick shortcut, you can go to a quick perspective. So front, back, left, right, top, and bottom. So my two most common are from the top. It's going to take you right in on the top and the front. So those are my two most commonly used. So for this inside scene, the first thing that I'm going to be doing is chopping the roof off so I can see down inside. In order to do that, you can see I have my project cloud highlighted. That means it's active. I want to go into segmentation. And I have polygon select and rectangular select. For taking things like a roof off, you can use a polygon, but I find it easier just to use a rectangular select. So I'm going to use rectangular select, get this positioned. So if I'm cutting the roof off so I can see down in, oops, get back to my front view. So wherever you want to start, it's just a left click. So that will start your rectangle. So I want to select just this area. So wherever I want to stop, hit left again, left click. So all of that data, I do not want this. So I'm going to say leave out. So that is going to chop the roof off. Roll around here. So now I'm going to be able to see down into my scene. And now this perspective here, I want to create an object cloud. And hit create. You'll see down here on my project pane, it's going to create an object 1. So that's my working cloud. I'm temporarily done with the segmentation tool. I can close that. So now if I have the light bulb on my object 1, that's going to be where I can look down into my scene. If I wanted to see the entire cloud, I could turn the light bulb on for the project cloud. I'm pretty much done with the project cloud. So I'm going to do a little bit more refinement on this actual cloud. So this is going to be kind of my working cloud. There's some data around here that I don't necessarily want. What we're really trying to do is clean up as much of this as possible because it's a lot easier to work inside of Reveal. So I'm actually going to use the segmentation tool again and get rid of all this erroneous data out here. So make sure that you have your Object 1 cloud selected. I'm going to go back into my segmentation tool. Make sure I'm looking directly down from the top, which I am. So I'm just going to make a polygon, or you could use a rectangle, around the area. So I'm going to switch over to polygon, start up here. So left click to start your polygon. Okay, so this is going to be my ending point here. So, oops, you need to double click left mouse to end. So that's my polygon. So to take the roof off, I left it out. So inside this selected area, I want to keep this in. So I'm going to use the green check. Put your green check. Put your create. Now we're going to get an object 2. Okay, can close the tool. So now we're starting to get our working area. So from here, you could actually, isolate things like evidence. Let me turn this over to true color. And down here, we're going to have some grayscale because there was a scan that did have no color. So we could isolate evidence. You can see I have some evidence hoods here with some shells that we used. I should have some what I call ghosting. So these are area, if somebody walks in front of the scanner while it's actually taking a scan, you'll get kind of these ghost images. This happens with traffic. It happens with people that walk in front of the scanner. I like to get rid of these to clean up my working cloud for inside Reveal. And in order to isolate this, we use the limit box. And the box is here. We're working inside. Actually, I'm going to rename this so I know that this is our working cloud. So to rename this, Object 1 we're obviously not going to use. That's just not going to be exported. If you want to rename this, because this is going to be something that we're actually going to take into Reveal, you can, 2 short clicks, I guess it would be long. It's not double tap, it's tap, tap. So you can do that, or you can right click and go to the properties and see the name. I'm going to call this Working Cloud. Oh, I can't remember my case number. I better check. Make sure I'm on the same page. 5421. 5421. This is going to end up being my working cloud. Okay, so now inside my working cloud, make sure that that's highlighted and active. I'm going to use my limit box mode. And you need to click on a point inside this area that you want to remove. And the software is going to make a best guess estimate on what you're actually selecting. So if I select somewhere here on the head, and obviously I didn't click on the head, try that again. I'll click on some of the body here. There we go. So now you can move these cursors to completely isolate this ghosting. So I want to leave the floor and on that leg there. Okay, so I now have just the ghost, as I call it, inside this limit box. So once we have that, we can open up the segmentation tool. You can see I have the box selection highlighted, so that's good because we're just using what's inside the box here. You need to verify to keep all of that in, and then you need to create that object. See, that would be object 3. You could keep going. I'm going to close the limit box. So object 3 is obviously not something that we're going to be using, but if we go back in here and I were to highlight or turn the light bulb on, so there's my ghost. There's on and off. So it's gone. So you can repeat the process of getting rid of ghosts. And so like object 3 and object 1, you know, these are junk. So if it doesn't have a proper name, it's not going to be exported as an E57 file. I'll show you one example of isolating something like, let's see. I'll just do this body here. So I'm going to do the same thing. Make sure that you're in your working cloud. It is active. Limit box. Click on my body here, and I'm going to do the same thing. Apparently he's got a knife in his throat. Ouch. So this is not necessary, but if you wanted to isolate the evidence, you could do that. Make sure I get the evidence hood in there. Could also do this with vehicles, if this were an accident reconstruction. Bring it up so I can get rid of the floor, so I just have the evidence. Okay, so that's pretty good. That's just my body there. So same thing, segmentation, have box selection on. You need to verify to keep in, and then create. And that's going to create another object cloud, object 4. Close this, close that. So object 4 is going to be something that we're going to actually export. So I'm going to rename this. By 421 body 1. So now I have my working cloud, and you can see my body is currently gone. Could highlight that or turn the light bulb on to show it. So isolating evidence, it's kind of hit or miss. People do it or not do it. But at minimum, the working cloud and the project cloud. Okay, so I need to export these. So I'm going to export, I have my working cloud highlighted. I'm going to export that selection as an E57. This is my file folder that I created for my E57s. There's my project cloud, working cloud, case number 5421. That's great. And export options, export all. And after this exports, then we're going to export our body, and then we'll be ready to go and reveal. Could probably do quite a bit more cleanup because we had a fairly large class, lots of people, lots of things around. This was just an example. So I'd probably clean it up a little bit more, isolate some more people, some more ghosting, and remove that from my working cloud. And this should just be about done. It will, when it is complete, you'll see my little spin wheel will go away and it'll go back to a pointer or cursor. So we're going to let this export, and then we'll do the body 1. Okay, so that is complete. If we want to export the body, highlight it, do the same thing. Case number 5421, body 1. I have my 2 other point clouds. I'm going to save that and then export. And that was a quick one because that was small. You can see the size of these clouds. Like the body 1 was 73,000 points. Our working cloud was 65 million points. Excuse me. So I've made changes to RealWorks. At this point, I'm done with RealWorks. So I'm going to save. You could also exit out, and it will detect that there has been changes and ask you if you do want to save them. I'm going to close out of RealWorks. So this is my result. So I have 3 clouds and then my Trimble capture file. And those are what you're going to need for Reveal, which I will pause and open up Reveal and show you the result. Okay, so after exporting my E57 point cloud files out of RealWorks, I imported, now I'm in Trimble Reveal, and I imported first my Trimble capture file, which was right here. and then imported my 3 point cloud files that were created inside RealWorks. And you can see this is the 3 same that we exported from RealWorks, and we've got the little light bulb here. Right now I'm just looking at the working cloud and the body, so I can turn things on and turn them off as far as visibility. And then my project cloud, if I wanted to see the untouched, of course we're just looking at the roof, but things will overlay. So, and I have all of my annotations from perspective that I converted over to evidence markers. You can see I've got the photos here, and then I can also look at a actual report. So this is the report I can get, which does a great job of organizing all of my evidence. So that's just kind of the basics of getting things, from capture on your tablet in the field for the X7, going into RealWorks to clean up the point cloud, and then bring it into Reveal. So that's about it. I'm going to sign off now. Thank you. This has been another Frontier Precision Tech Talk. We hope you enjoy the video and join us next time.